The polling for Kamala Harris is so abysmal, and it's getting worse by the day. CNN released this poll of union workers. Listen to this.
But look at where Kamala Harris is today. She's only leading by 9 points. That would be the worst Democratic performance in a generation. 10 points off the mark of Joe Biden, who of course won 4 years ago, was sort of that union guy, Union Joe, right? Won it by 19 points. She's 10 points off his mark, and the worst in a generation.
I'm going to leave this up for just a minute. Let's take a look at this. 1992, Clinton. This is the union vote. Okay, this is union workers. Historic union support for Dems faces potential shift in 2024. In 1992, Bill Clinton had 30 points, plus 30 points, pardon me, of union workers. Hillary Clinton managed plus 12. All right. Biden, 19 points. The old Scranton Joe. Old Scranton Joe, Delaware Joe, whatever. Kamala Harris has plus 9. That is a 10-point shift from just 4 years ago. In 4 years, she's managed to evaporate 10% of the union vote. And that translates to 10% in the plus column for Donald Trump. Losing the union vote for a Democrat is not only bad for an election, but man, it should be disqualifying. It should be disqualifying. It should be a big red flag that says, hey, we got to get this woman off the ticket. Problem is, they already played that card once before. They already looked at Joe Biden, who, look, I'll be honest with you, Joe Biden probably would have done better in this poll had he stayed in the race. Joe Biden probably would have pulled some union support. Joe Biden had 19% of union workers, plus 19% of union workers on his side. Kamala Harris threw 10% of that away in just a couple of short months. Joe Biden may actually have been the better candidate. How bad a candidate do you have to be for the polls to show you that Joe Biden may have actually been the better candidate? Here's NBC talking about Hispanic voters.
We ask a basic question of Hispanic voters. Which party do you more identify with? 37% now say Republicans, 49% say Democrats. But again, look at how this has shifted in just the last dozen years. In 2012, this was a 41-point advantage for the Democrats. It has come all the way down to 12 points, Kristen, a 29-point drop in terms of that gap there on which party Hispanics identify with in just 12 years.
Here's Jen Peppermint Saki from MSNBC with yet another devastating. This is fun, by the way. I don't know if are you having as much fun as I am? There's way more devastating Kamala Harris polls yet to come. Here's Jen Peppermint Saki on MSNBC.
Polls consistently show immigration as a major weakness for Democrats, and for Harris specifically. Like the NBC News poll this month that shows 54% of registered voters think Trump would better handle securing the border and controlling immigration, compared with 33% who said the same of Harris. She's not going to make up that whole gap between now and November.
Oh, you don't think so? She's not going to make up that gap of 21 percentage points by November? You're right. It's probably the most honest thing Jen Peppermint Saki's ever said. But think about that. So 54% of voters, registered voters, say Donald Trump would handle the border better than Kamala Harris. 33% say Kamala Harris. I have a question. Who the hell are these 33% of people that think Kamala Harris would be better on the border? Who are these people? Kamala Harris went to the border for the first time on Friday. Kamala Harris, who is the border czar, by the way, went to the border for the first time on Friday, and she made headlines for wearing a $62,000 Tiffany necklace. Border czar Kamala Harris panned for wearing reported $62,000 necklace to southern border. Quote, "You look ridiculous." The border crisis has been an albatross around Kamala Harris's neck, and now her jewelry is too. The Democratic presidential nominee was snapped Friday at the southern border in Arizona, trying to look tough on one of her major political weaknesses as she walked near a razor wire protected fence in the town of Douglas, chatting with an agent from U.S. Border Patrol. Harris, 59, was wearing dark sunglasses, a brown jacket over a black top, and dark-colored pants, and sporting what critics claimed was a $62,000 necklace from Tiffany's. She was born to a middle-class family. She understands your plight. She was, by the way, those sunglasses ain't cheap either. I can't see the brand from here, But rest assured, she's got about $400 probably resting on her nose, $62,000 around her neck. God knows how much the rest of the outfit is. But that's what she decides to wear to the border. Dems decide to send Kamala. Oh, wait, where did it go? Dems decide to send Kamala Harris out in a $62,000 Tiffany necklace to reassure the middle class that she and the corpse we just saw wheeze through a debate have their best interests at heart. One detractor wrote on X. That's why I love X. Maybe leave the $60,000 Tiffany necklace at home when visiting the border. Another commenter quipped on the platform. Respectfully, you look ridiculous and thoroughly removed from what's right in front of your face. The photo op wasn't a total loss, though. They got a great shot of the necklace. So there you go, man. Maybe she'll get some of that Tiffany money. And then Jen Psaki wonders why Kamala Harris is so low. 33% of people believe that she's still tougher on immigration than Donald Trump. I can't believe that. There's more, though. Listen, this is a representative, I forget her name. She's from Michigan. And she was on a call, and she was caught or recorded admitting that Kamala Harris is losing in Michigan.
I'm not feeling my best right now about where we are on Kamala Harris in a place like Michigan right now. We have her underwater in our polling.
Elisa Slotkin. And she is admitting on this call that the internal polling, which BT Dubs, sorry, Keith, is the only polling you should listen to. And they actually reference that. Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump Jr. were talking about that. And Tucker Carlson said, by the way, Donald Trump's way ahead. If anybody's worried, I tell people all the time, my wife watches the news. My son watches the news. He comes to me, he goes, is Donald Trump going to lose? I go, no. And he goes, but the polls. I go, no. There's two kinds of polls. There's the polls on television and on the internet and on Twitter that are meant to convince you that Kamala Harris is really ahead and that you should vote for her because she's going to win because she's the better candidate for the job. There's those polls. But then there's the real polls, the internal polling. And the internal polling says Donald Trump's way ahead. And it says that not just in the Donald Trump campaign, it says it in the Kamala Harris campaign, and it says it in Elise Slotkin's campaign or internal polling as well in Michigan.
I'm not feeling my best right now about where we are on Kamala Harris in a place like Michigan right now. We have her underwater in our polling. Now,
I don't know if anybody's feeling their best about Kamala Harris, but let me just go quickly to 270 to win, because I want to show you what's really going on with the polls. Let me pull up the map here. All right, so as you can see right now, they've opened up a lot more of the votes, and they're still convinced that Donald Trump is not going to win North Carolina. They're still convinced that Georgia is up for grabs. They're still convinced that, can I get this Coke out of here? They're still convinced that a couple of these other states have not yet been decided. And what we're starting to see is that, for example, Elise Slotkin is saying, look, our polling shows that she's underwater, which means Donald Trump wins Michigan. All of a sudden, Donald Trump's up to 225. Donald Trump is ahead, has been ahead for a long time, and I don't think anything's going to break his lead in Pennsylvania, so we're just going to go ahead and give him that too. He's up to 244. Georgia, Donald Trump leads, and North Carolina, which was just devastated by a hurricane and is being ignored by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. In fact, Joe Biden said, oh, North Carolina, we don't have any more relief for you. Sorry.
We've given them all everything we have. We're on the ground ahead of time. So we're working hard.
Are there any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet. Hadn't asked for it yet.
Okay, no resources for North Carolina, which means we're going to go ahead and put that in. Oh, look at that. We're at 276 electoral votes, and you only need 270 to win. Let's just, for kicks and giggles, complete the puzzle. Let's give Kamala Harris Wisconsin, shall we? Just cause. Let's say the cheeseheads, they got Swiss cheese in their cheddar heads. I don't know what you call it. Let's just give Wisconsin just to be nice. That still leaves Arizona and Nevada. And Arizona, I'm pretty sure, is sick and tired of Kamala Harris's border lies. And so even if she wins Nevada, which I don't think she's going to do, it's 287 to 251. That's what the internal polls are telling the Kamala Harris campaign. That's what they're telling the Donald Trump campaign. Michigan is not going to Kamala Harris. Pennsylvania is not going to Kamala Harris. North Carolina, Georgia, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to fix this right here. This is what you're looking at. This is what you're looking at. You're looking at 303. I do hear, by the way, that there is a main movement toward Donald Trump. I still hold out hope for New Hampshire. And I think that Virginia is in play, depending on what's going. Look, this is just me playing around, by the way. Donald Trump could come out with walk away with 323 electoral votes, which would be amazing. Also, you'll notice this is interesting. Minnesota, see how like California's dark blue and New York is dark blue and Oregon is dark blue and Illinois is dark blue. See how all that's happening? Oh, by the way, South Carolina should be red there. That's interesting to me because you'll notice that Minnesota is light blue. And Minnesota is the home of Tim Walz, who is running for president with Kamala Harris. And that you would think would put it easily in Kamala's pocket, but nothing comes easily when you're Kamala Harris. Well, I guess except getting the nomination. But that's the thing that comes easiest to Kamala Harris. I'm very excited today for a couple of reasons, because I've been working on something for a few months. I've been writing another book, which I completed weeks ago. But as I mentioned over and over again, I just didn't have the opportunity to put together the delivery system, because again, what happens is when you're working on your own, you have projects, you have things you want to do, you have things you want to accomplish, and writing the book was step one. Then you had to come up with the marketing and the delivery and make sure that everybody could get it and access it. Then I wanted to record an audiobook and all this other great stuff. Well, it's finally done. It's completed. It's up. It's ready to go. And today, I'm launching it to the public. Everybody who's been looking forward to this, everybody who's wanted it, everybody who's like, Mark Kaye, when are you going to write another book? Mark Kaye, when are you going to tell us, what's going on with this new book? Mark Kaye, when are you going to share the stories about getting canceled from the radio, from TV, from social media? What can we expect next? Well, I'll tell you what you can expect next. In fact, I'll tell you what you can get right now. And it is my new book, which is called Cancel Proof: My Proven Social Media Strategy for Conservatives to Thrive Online. And you're probably asking yourself, Mark Kaye, this is great. Where can I get it? It's easy. You go to markkaye.com/cancel. markkaye.com/cancel. And let me show you real quick what happens when you get there. This is the website that we created. Again, it took us a little bit of time, but look, Travis M just got a copy. Fantastic. Travis M just got Cancel Proof out there in Jacksonville. Thanks, Travis. We appreciate it. Look, this is it. My secret strategy to keep conservatives from getting canceled online. Now, this is part biographical. This is a book about, my trials and tribulations, getting demonetized on Facebook and on other platforms, getting kicked off of LinkedIn, for crying out loud, getting fired from the radio just for being a conservative. All of these things that have happened to me that I've learned from and that I've come back from, and that, yeah, sure, there are times that are tough, but there's so many great lessons to be learned. And as a conservative, it's possible. It's possible to live and work and survive and actually thrive online if you know how. And I've been lucky enough to learn how. The hard way. I learned it the hard way, but I learned trial by fire. People talk about street smarts. I have social media smarts, because as a conservative on social media, as a conservative on the internet, man, it is tough. It is tough out there. So this is the new book, and this is where I tell you all about it. And you can get instant access. The other thing I decided to do with this book was make it all digital. And I'll tell you why I did that. Couple reasons. Number one, I wanted to get this out quickly. I know a lot of people read digitally now. I know a lot of people are impatient. And I wanted to figure out a way to avoid some of the pitfalls that come with traditional publishing. One of them is the plethora of emails I get from people saying, "Where's my order? Well, I ordered this book a month ago. Where is it?" Another, people sending me photographs of their books that are bent or broken in half with tire tread over it, because God knows what's going on at the U.S. Postal Service. God knows how they're getting these. I've had people send me books that had liquid spilled on them and like cuts in the wrapping. I've had people write to me and say, "I believe somebody read this book, put it back in the package." These things get delivered to the wrong house. It's just, I wanted to avoid all of that. So digital delivery, it cuts all that out. You can actually be reading Cancel Proof within the next couple of minutes. Also, I recorded an audiobook, and I wanted to, an audio version rather, and I wanted to put them together so that you could get them both at the same time. And so digital delivery was the best way to do it. And for $24, you can get both of these. You can get both the ebook and you can get the audiobook, so you can read it or you can just listen to me read it. And you can go through, this is the 3-part strategy that I've learned on how to protect my business from online censorship. And look, I'll be honest with you. If you are a conservative, and you may not be a conservative podcaster like I am, or a conservative talk show host or any of that, you may sell, cookies. You may be a plumber. You may be a roofer. It doesn't matter. If you're conservative, you are at risk. And if you advertise online or talk online, or if your business is online at all, then you are at risk. And there are ways to protect yourself from having everything you've built and worked for and struggled for and put together shut down by some cancel-happy woke folk in Silicon Valley or in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else. These are things that you need to know about, especially if you're a conservative. You don't have to be a loudmouth conservative like I am, but just know conservatives are under attack and they're being hunted and they're being canceled. And it happened to President Trump. It happened to Tucker Carlson. It happened to me. If it can happen to President Trump, if it can happen to Tucker Carlson, if it can happen to us, it can happen to you too. And that's why I want you to get this book and enjoy it and read it and learn from it. It's called Cancel, but you can go to markkay.com/cancel. If you're watching the video on YouTube or Rumble or anywhere else, I've put the link in the description of this video so you can go get it. Download the audiobook and the ebook. It comes together as a bundle. And then let me know what you think, because I'm really excited for you to hear. I'm really excited rather for me to hear your thoughts on this latest topic.